Hi, friends. This is a sequence that I like to do when I want to ease the tightness and stiffness at the tops of my shoulders. So today I'm using my moderately firm roller. Sometimes I use my soft roller if I don't want quite the intensity. So choose what's best for you today. I like to start just with my spine vertically on the roller in neutral spine. So my low ribs are not lifting, my chin is not lifting, spine is nice and neutral here. Arms just relax out to the sides. And I like to take a few deep centering breaths here. Let the body relax. And then I begin to shift the roller so that it is in that little valley between my spine and my right shoulder blade. And I just shift my body side to side here, rocking that area out. And then I roll to the other side so I can soften that valley to the left of my spine. And then returning through neutral. I begin with some arm movements. So here's where I really think I want to keep my core engaged, want to keep those low ribs down, keep the chin slightly tucked here, and then I start to scissor my arms. First, it's just kind of loose with the arms as far as they're a little bent. It's a soft little kind of loosening up, lubricating through the shoulder joints. And then I put a little more energy into it, reaching and pulling with those arms. And that's when I have to be careful not to let my low ribs rise up and my low back to arch here. I keep it neutral. That way the stretch goes right where I want it to. All right. And then let's see from here. Let's make sure that we're at the very bottom of the roller. So, like, I need to have a few inches above my head that's still on the roller. And I shift over to that right valley there on my back, activate the core, and then I lift my hips into a bridge pose. As I start to lift them, then I can start to feel the roller pressing above that shoulder blade. And then the higher I lift my hips, the more towards the top of the shoulder that the pressure becomes. And from there, I can use my core strength to shimmy a bit side to side here, rolling along those muscles. And then sometimes I also like to go cross fiber. So I will send my body up towards the top and bottom of the roller, going that direction, and then returning usually to that side to side motion. And then if I want more intensity still, I could reach my right arm overhead, lift my hips even higher, and then continue with that motion of rolling side to side. Sometimes, as I'm rolling side to side, I will let my head stay in contact with the roller and yet sort of glide down to that left side. And then I'll just stay there for a breath or two and let the roller press into the top of my shoulder and let that right side of my neck get a good stretch. Mm, that usually feels pretty delightful. And then when I'm ready to roll back, make sure my head stays in contact with the roller. That way I just roll back upright. My head's never, dangling at all. And I come back through that neutral spine. Just take a breath. I like to notice the different sensations, right side, left side. And then I'll roll onto the side of the roller so it's in that left valley. From there, I'll lift into the bridge pose. Okay, so now I'm just doing the same thing on my left shoulder. I start to rock side to side. Maybe decide if I want to reach or shift my body up and down along the roller. And go back side to side, maybe lift the hips a little higher. And at some point, I'm ready to let that arm reach overhead. And then this is where sometimes I just like to let my head just glide on down till it almost touches the floor. And just lift the hips as high as I can and let the pressure of the roller press into the top of my shoulder. And then with the head sort of attached to the roller, I just roll my body back onto the top of it. Again, find neutral, pause for a breath and notice. And then I scoot up more towards the very top of the roller. Not that my head is dangling, but the edge of the roller is at the very lowest part at the back of my skull. So that from here, well, actually, I'm going to clasp my hands behind my head first. And then I'll activate my core, lift the hips into a bridge pose. And then the edge of the roller naturally begins to press where those suboccipital muscles are, at the very top of the neck and attaching to the base of the skull. Sometimes it feels nice just to stay right here, but usually at some point I want to begin to roll my head very slowly, very gently in a no position as my arms stay relaxed in this hand clasp position. That really gets into the very top of my neck muscles. And again, sometimes I like to pause at one angle, take a breath, just allow the roller to press more deeply into any knots. And I do that on the other side as well. And then when I've had enough, I lower my bottom back down. The roller naturally slides back to support my head again and kind of inchworm my way down just a bit. Find that neutral spine. And then shift the arms into 90-degree angles to form goalposts. And with my breath, I'm going to let these goalposts rotate up and down. So as I inhale, I like to let the backs of my hands reach towards the floor without letting my low ribs rise, keeping my chin slightly tucked. And then on the exhale, just rotating so that now it's palms facing down. Back and forth, inhaling, palms up. Exhale, palms down. All the while keeping that spine in neutral. That is key here. And sometimes I like to play with this, letting one arm reach up as the other reaches down in these goalposts. And sometimes I like to just pause and relax with either the goalpost arms up or down. It becomes intuitive after a while. You just notice where your body is resisting and where it's welcoming these movements. Breathing into any tightness or rigidity, but absolutely avoiding any pain. And when you've had enough of the goalpost action, that's when I just let the arms come back out like a T. Relax here. Again, let the body sort of just melt over my foam roller, my eyes close down. And once again, I take a few breaths just to relax and integrate what I've just done. And then notice the effects of the practice.